everyone, we're about to start our first adventure tonight, which I've entitled Royal Jelly. But as always, before we get into it, we are going to introduce our heroes. So let's get right into it with our first up tonight. We have Hiori Glasia, the glittering Avenger. Hello, Hiori.
Hello.
How are you today? You seem very chipper.
Yeah, a little bit. I just have to go back home very soon because there was a thing that was happening. I have to move the entire shrine over, and then we're gonna attempt to reopen the entire town under a different form, I think, or something like that. I don't know. I didn't get the details completely ironed out with Daakar, but we're gonna have happy days coming soon.
Oh, that's lovely. I don't know much about your hometown, Hiori. Would you like to tell me a little bit about it?
I was not originally from Tuk Tuk, but I used to live in like the mountainous areas, right? I wasn't actually a person that stayed locked down in a place because of my chocolate sculpting. I'd kind of rent places here and there for a little bit, and then I'd move on.
And now, would you say that Tuk Tuk has kind of become like a home for you?
Yeah, I would say that's pretty accurate. Trying to clean it up as much as possible.
And is Tuk Tuk a village entirely comprised of kobolds, aside from you, obviously?
Yes.
Yes. I imagine you are very comfortable there in that case.
I mean, it's nice to wake up every day, peer outside your slightly small window, and see all the nice and healthy and happy kobolds, because
Just a
they're
ton of those.
all right there.
Just a ton of those nice little guys. That's great. Well, Hiori, I'm glad that things are going well for you right now.
And go well, I hope they continue to do.
I hope so. I hope so too.
I think that's how I say it. I don't know.
No, I think you got it. And Hiori, welcome back.
Good to be back.
Next up, we have returning once more Zewxip. Zewxip, how are you today?
Oh, it's been so dry lately.
Yes, the weather has been very harsh. How are you holding up?
As well as we can. Fortunately, we have a lot of experience on the water. Unfortunately, that's not exactly water that we can drink. So I've had to do my best. As much as we love sun, you can have too much of a good thing.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to find somewhere to cool off and maybe soak up those petals a little bit. Get yourself nice and what's the term for that? To be fully absorbed and full of water. I guess full. Would that just be it?
That works. Hydrated. It seems
Hydrated,
to be a
there we
popular
are.
phrase. People keep reminding me to be hydrated.
Yes, you got to stay hydrated in this vicious heat. But I have a question. Are you looking forward to fall, or do you kind of like some of these sunnier days, even though there are some that are a little extreme like this?
It's a bit of a mood. As eager as we were to enjoy the summer and to romp on the beach and judge sandcastles, and you can have too much. Whew. Oh, here's another phrase. How about that heat? Everyone keeps asking me that too. Anyway, yes, the cooler days. Of course, when fall comes, we'll probably end up regretting that, as we're going to then start getting cold. But right now, oh, bring the rain, bring the cool, and we could certainly use a color shift.
Yes, that's certainly true. I really enjoy seeing the fall foliage as well. Zewxip, do you change at all? Does your foliage kind of change at all in the fall months, or do you kind of stay constant?
We ourselves don't necessarily change too much, slightly because of the sun, and so especially on behalf of my significant other and my discovery of fashion, which allows the likes of you all to change your colors on a daily basis. We've been looking into seasonal outfits, seasonal trends, and it's quite fascinating.
I'm sure that there's a lot to take in, as the world of fashion is a complicated and in many ways dark one here in the land of DnDTime. But Zewxip, regardless, I'm glad, well, I'm sorry that things are a little bit hot for you. Try and stay cool out there, Zewxip.
As they say, maybe it's not the heat, it's the humidity or
I
something.
could.
That may be
I'm,
the case.
I'm volunteering to cool you down if you want.
Well, perhaps that will be the case as we hop in, but before that, let us also move on to someone who I imagine is very much soaking up the sun right now, and that is Sunny, the sun's radiance. Sunny, how are you?
Oh, just great. Fantastic. It's so warm and inviting lately. You can never have too
Yes.
much of a good thing. So great.
And is this, I guess, on the complete opposite side of the coin, is this your number one favorite month? Is this your,
Oh,
is this your favorite time?
absolutely. Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Just staring right up at the sun, soaking up all of those big rays, Sunny. Now, tell me, what's new, Sunny? How's your kingdom doing?
Oh, it's doing great. We're getting our strangle vines, in check now. We're doing really.
The strangle vines were getting to be a problem, weren't they?
Oh yeah, they weren't growing in right, so we had to change up our fertilizer and now we're growing in just great.
Growing in right. I assumed that the strangle vines were weeds that you didn't want strangling people in your territory. You wanted those there?
Oh yeah, it's really great at keeping people out that you don't want in there
I
and
suppose.
making new fertilizer.
I guess that makes a lot of sense. And what kind of enemies do you have? I use the word enemies, or unwanted guests do you get in that region? Is there any particular kind of group of people that are always trying to get into your home kingdom, Sonny?
Not too much. I mean,
Hmm.
there's a little bit of a little bit of the bunny people, but they're nice. So.
Indeed, indeed. Well, V Bunny, I'm glad to I'm glad to see that you're keeping things safe in your kingdom, and I
Oh,
hope
great.
that yes, I hope that things continue to proceed nicely, and that your Stranglethorn problem has been solved. And as always, welcome back, Sonny.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
And last but not least, of course, we have Daakar Greycloak of the Dragonblade returning once more. Daakar, hello.
I'm sorry. I'm running a little late here, aren't I?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite understand you. What did you say?
I'm running a little late here, aren't I?
Oh, you're fine, Daakar. Right on time, I would say. So tell me, what's new? I did hear from Hiori that you were doing a little bit of relocating.
Yeah, it's Tuk-Tuk's been buried under a lot of sand for a long time, and we'll try as we might to keep it at bay. Us kobolds, we're not the best at shoveling sand around, and slowly it's been flooding more and more.
Hmm.
But
that's troubling, yeah.
Hiori's going to help us take care of that, and maybe we can actually get back some of our old living space.
Well, I'm happy that you're kind of reclaiming the whole homeland, so to speak. What region are you in? Kind of like where does it fall? Is it like in the midst of a desert? Why are all these sands here?
Yeah, we're kind of near the frontier.
Oh, okay.
Not quite in the deserts of Alabama, but pretty close to.
Yeah, adjacent. Deserts of Alabama adjacent. I get you. And yeah, it does get very sandy around there. You got to look out for those vicious sandstorms. And how far along are you, would you say, on this exhuming of Tuk-Tuk? The exhuming of Tuk-Tuk?
Well, over half of the city is still buried, so I would say we're not very far along yet.
Okay, well, everything Tuk-Tuk wasn't built in a day, and nor shall it be exhumed, I assume. So
It'd be nice.
it would be nice, but hard work and perseverance, I'm sure, will serve you here. And Daakar, welcome back. It's good to have you once more.
Thank you.
And so, without further ado, let us dive into tonight's adventure, which brings the four of you outside of the gates of the city of Goop. Bartholomew has sent you here because he had one of his boots stolen, apparently, and as most of the things that Bartholomew wears, he doesn't often do boots, he does sandals a lot, but in his earlier adventuring days, when he didn't do the full robes, his boots did possess quite a bit of magical power, and, well, he needs them returned, as in the wrong hands, they could be very dangerous. And The individual that he believes has stolen them is someone by the name of Schlorp, who is apparently a advisor to the sovereign of the kingdom of Goop, which is, from what you've gathered so far, a kingdom made up entirely of oozes and slimes and things of that nature. You're there. You were told by Bartholomew the full name of the guy you were looking for was Schlorpy Bubbles, and this was the king's advisor who stolen these boots. And with a snap of Bartholomew's fingers in the shop, you found yourselves directly outside of the main gate of this kingdom. There is beneath you, you can hear a very loud kind of, or loud might be the wrong word, a very goopy sound, as there's just what appears to be a moat over like a drawbridge made up entirely of like kind of bubbling ooze that's kind of up beneath you. Over on top of the walls, which do appear to be made of stone, but there's a lot of places where like jelly and slime seems to be seeping down over the front of this stone. You can see on the ramparts above, there are two what look like guard oozes. They're just, they just appear to be like gray jellies that are kind of sitting over here above the gate. But each of them has what looks like a sword that's just kind of jiggling around inside of their body, and what looks like a helmet, so you can tell they're probably knights. And you guys just all of a sudden appear out on this gate, out of nowhere, as you are thrust out here looking for Bartholomew's boot. What would you all like to do as you're thrown into this situation?
I immediately want to open my bag and check my stock of fish.
You have, I don't know, how many fish do you have?
I might have like 2 or 3 salmon. Maybe part of a air quotes hot dog that I saved from the last adventure.
Of course. You got some of those left, I assume. The hot dogs were okay.
And I'm going to eat an entire fish.
All right, you pound a fish, and as you kind of are doing that, you just kind of stand in here on this drawbridge leading over to the gate into the city, or in front of it rather, and the kind of guards are kind of calling out to you guys now. At this point, you hear a voice saying, hey there, what are you doing over there?
Oh, sorry, we were just teleported here by Bartholomew. I don't know about anyone else, but that teleporting thing makes me real hungry for no reason.
Okay.
Let me convene you with everyone else, and we'll be right with you, I think. Maybe.
All right, no rush. We're just here guarding.
Okay.
Hey, can I get in that shoulder seat? I don't think I'm gonna like walking around in that place too much.
Yeah, go ahead. Settle yourself in.
Alright, the guy's gonna climb up on Hiori and sit in the seat that's mounted to her shoulder armor.
Alright, you get up in your perch, and you are now in your Hiori mech of sorts.
I'm a mecha now? Wow, this went from...
In a sense.
This is cool. This is cool.
I don't think I'm wearing the right clothing for this area. Everybody seems to be like cubes and stuff. I can fix that. And I'm using the regrowth ability to kind of make me more cube.
You want to be more cube-like?
Yes.
All right, yeah. You get some like grass and it takes a little while. So you're gonna be out here for a while, kind of doing this. Or, you had information going in, so also you could have done this beforehand. I think that's reasonable. So yeah, you're in a very cube-like shape. You got big kind of pieces of grass that are like hanging down from your arms. You have to kind of like stretch out and go into a pose to be a little bit more square. But yeah, you got some more square-like look about you. I think that's fair.
Yay!
Oh, that one over there looks normal. Kind of cubey, huh? You gelatinous?
Yeah, sure. I'm gelatinous.
Alright, you don't jiggle like a jelly.
Oh, watch this! And I jump up and down a little bit and jiggle.
Go ahead and make me an either performance or acrobatics check.
Okay, I'll do performance.
Up to you. 18. Oh, never. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you, sir. Yeah, you obviously. I know you ain't. I know you're not jam because jelly. I know you must be jam because jelly don't shake like that. I think that's the old acronym.
Yep, that's about right.
Yeah. So if you want to come in, you can. None of your friends can though because they're definitely not jellies.
Oh, okay.
And this is a jelly-only kingdom, I'd like to point that out. We only allow oozes and jams and jellies, slimes, goos, goops, things of that nature. So...
Oh, I believe that I can enter in with my friend who qualifies. And Zewxip is going to pull out her cube plushie from the Trask adventure. I'm with this one.
Oh, look at that little one right there. That's just like a baby cube. I've never seen one so little. But I mean, there is a pretty strict no-entry policy. But if you got your friend there, go ahead and make a persuasion check. As
Sure.
I think you're trying to. 20. Maybe we can let it slide as long as it's okay with you. And he kind of looks expectantly at the little jelly cube you got there.
I'll jiggle it.
Oh, good one. All right, yeah, you'll be fine. But those two they're kind of riding. I'm afraid not. Absolutely not.
Okay, that complicates things.
Yep. And he's just there. Like I said, it's only jellies in here.
I'm sorry, Hiori. I'm not an illusionist. I don't think I can turn us into jelly job blob things.
That's understandable, and I don't think I'm... I don't think I'm, what's the word? Damn, what is the word? Convincing enough to, tell these jellies here that...
You don't have to be convincing. You can just be jiggly and wiggly. Or you can schlorp about.
Jiggly and wiggly.
Or schlorp. Also, if you can squeeze.
Maybe if this were 2 years ago, I could fit that, but it's not anymore. I've worked out all of that already. Damn it.
Hey guys, I might be able to sneak you in. Shh. At least one of you, though.
Okay.
Yeah, so you guys are out there right now. They still haven't lowered the drawbridge right now because it's clear that you guys are just kind of standing there, and they're a little bit nervous about putting down the drawbridge while you guys are just trying to walk in. But what are you trying to do, Bunny?
I have the ability Thunderstep, which allows me to take one person with me.
Oh shit! I mean, yeah, that'll do it. That'd get you one.
Okay, Hiori, I think if you go with him, I can maybe sneak myself in.
Can't you just ride in the seat?
I think mechanically in Raw, it would only allow one person to come.
Dang.
Even though you guys are kind of combined at the moment.
Yeah, I was hoping, but if that's how it works, I guess that's
Yeah,
fine.
unfortunately. He'll just kind of, as you get thunderstepped away, he'll just kind of like fall down to the ground.
Oh, no. What if they eat him?
That's a great question. With the jellies, you kind of say that out loud, and the jellies goes, "Oh, we're not gonna eat him. We might absorb him if he gets up here, but no, we're not gonna eat him."
Will he at least be able to breathe and not be turned into soup?
Can you breathe acid?
No, I can't. I'm not one of those kinds of kobolds.
Does acid dissolve your skin?
Yeah.
Then no, he would not be able to. Although we wouldn't do it like too mean. We're not like the rhyme slime or anything like that.
Oh man, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, real rogue.
He had a run-in with one of my friends.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Good riddance. Glad he's not here anymore.
Maybe you've heard of the guy. It's, Othkart. He's kind of a cool looking lizard. He's
Some
nice
kind
and
of-
gray.
I think I heard of a bone boy like that.
Yeah, he's real cool. He
Anyway,
made-
would you mind backing off the gate a little bit so I can let these upstanding slimes in?
Sure, I can do that.
Yeah, no problem. And they kind of walk over, and you see the other guard. He kind of motions to the other ooze guard that's over at the top. He goes, "Hey, if you wanna lower it a bit," and that ooze just kind of rolls and tumbles off the side, and he seems to like fall into a pipe or something like that that's posted up on top of the wall, and as he does so, you see him just disappear behind the wall, and then slowly the door just kind of the bridge just kind of drops and lowers downwards, and
Is
in
it
that
one
pipe
of our
you can see
kobolds that can't get in?
it is, I think, the kobold that is unable to get in at the moment.
Okay.
Yep.
What I will do, and this could be on full display of the guards to show that I'm on good terms. I understand slime culture. I would like to cast Reduce on the kobold to make it tiny, and then sort of like envelop it in my vines as if I've consumed it.
Wait, can you run that? Can you run that by me one more time? Haven't wrapped my head entirely around it yet.
Okay. Kobold, small creature.
Yes.
I want to cast Reduce to make it tiny.
Okay.
I then want to wrap my viney Floran body around it to make it look like I've like absorbed it or consumed it. If I need to, I have like druidcraft or some other vegetable manipulation.
Okay, I get you.
So that
Now I understand. Absolutely. Do you go over and tell this plan to? Do you go over and tell this plan to Daakar?
in so much that I say, "Be cool," and then I touch the kobold, shrink it, and then sort of, well, I Schlorp it. Right? They're looking for Schlorps. I'll even declare Schlorp very loudly.
Hiori is going to straight up, dead in the fucking eyes, stare.
Daakar, do you allow this? Are you willing, essentially, on this reduce and Schlorp?
Yeah, I guess I'll be cool with it. I'm already pretty small as it is. What's it gonna
Alright.
hurt to be a little smaller?
Yeah, and Daakar gets extremely small on your back, Hiori, and as much as you're dead-eye staring, it's also very cute seeing him even smaller than he was before. And the vines kind of come up, and you go ahead and make me a deception check with advantage, because I think Daakar is helping by just kind of allowing this to happen. 18, alright, you Schlorp into, and what's the... Can you break me off a piece of that Schlorp sound that you make? And now, Daakar, you are very tightly packed inside the vines on Zewxip's body, and the guards kind of look down. Oh, you didn't even tell me that you were in the news too. I thought you were just there with your little friend. Oh, that's fine, of course. That poor guy, though. He didn't know what was coming. He got just absorbed right away.
But...
Hiori is left dazed. So anyway, I guess everyone's okay now, or not you. Well, looks over at Hiori. Not you, but the rest of you are good. If you want to come right on in and you don't mind backing up.
Okay.
And you walk in. I know that you do. Zewxip, along with Daakar, now inside of your form absorbed. What about you, Sunny? Because I know that you're doing some.
I take a little step back, and then, when they lower the drawbridge, and then I immediately kind of Schlorp my friend and thunderstep in.
All right. And so you guys get over to the other side, and you walk in, and you're just kind of like holding on to Hiori, and then all of a sudden, there's a huge explosion. And how far away can you go? 300 feet? Are you just going the full distance? You're just going like deep into the city?
Yes.
All right, and so you guys appear far up ahead of where Zewxip, and with Daakar inside are, and you can see like the guards behind go, Hurry, stop them! And then they begin moving at an incredibly slow speed as they're just kind of just gooping along the wall and flop down onto the ground and begin taking off after you at a movement speed of about 5. So you guys got enough of a lead that you think those guards are completely incapable of catching you.
What the Huh?
Hey, how's it going?
And
What just happened?
Zewxip, you gotta catch up.
I was back there and... What was that? What is
worry. We'll catch them. Don't worry. So I'm still gonna pretend to be on their side and sort of also chase after, quote unquote.
Okay.
I would also like to slip Daakar my little cube plushie and just, hey, hold on to this so you have street cred.
All right. Daakar, you got yourself a little plushy cube. And also, are you going to break the concentration on that reduce?
Is Daakar still inside of him?
That's only about a minute, right?
1 second.
Yeah, it's 1 minute. So are you just gonna let him out when you get up to Hiori?
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's coming up to a minute, and so it's time to kind of the little culprit.
All right, Daakar, you expand back to your original size, and the people around you, none of them have really heard the guards or noticed, and there's just what looks like a nice little slime city that you're in now. There are slimes kind of glooping and gooping all over the place. A lot of instead of roads in a lot of places, there are traditional streets, but you can see a lot of pipelines and stuff where there are oozes that are just kind of zipping their way and kind of flowing through these pipes that act as secondary squeeze-through roadways in a lot of places. You can also see that most of the oozes are, they all seem to have very similar voices, as they're all just kind of speaking over. You hear just oh, hello, hey, oh, hello, as they're all kind of talking over each other. Also, they seem to all have different objects inside of them that denote their professions. You see a blacksmith ooze with a little hammer inside of their body and an apron. You can also see what looks like a juggler ooze who just has 3 spheres inside of its body that are just spinning in a circle. So there's all kinds of oozes that are just there. Some kind of are busking to you out on the street as you guys are walking through. Come forward, try our new ooze. As they seem to be selling big mugs of ooze.
I'll do so.
That looks delightful. I'm going to.
We have a few different flavors. We have cherry slime. We have blueberry blast, which is that's just a traditional ooze. And then of course we have grape goop.
All right.
Grape goop for you. And he kind of goes over and grabs one of the mugs, goes up to a big keg that just pours a big slimy substance into it. And hands it on over to you. Just go ahead and absorb that right up.
Thank you. In exchange, and I'm going to grow a couple mint leaves with my ability to grow herbs and spices off my body. Here, absorb this mint.
Oh, I'll give it a try. And as soon as he kind of reaches a pseudopod out towards the mint, you can feel it just very slightly singe your hand with the acid as the hand kind of takes the mint, and the mint instantly just kind of evaporates and disintegrates inside of the ooze as it burns away. And he goes, "Oh, I never had that before. Pretty good." Oh, well, thank you very much. We'll just call that an exchange. Normally I charge Goop, but mint was very interesting.
Pleasure gooping business with you.
And a Goop day to you too, sir. And he goes back around, kind of busking on the street. You gonna drink that grape Goop?
I will also touch it with a tendril of my own.
All right. You kind of reach into it. It does not singe, actually, as you're grabbing it. It does not seem to be acidic.
All right, big swig.
All right. It tastes like grape jello is kind of your vibe. It's very viscous, but it flows a little bit better than jello would. It doesn't like stay in one place. It's an experience, absolutely. And if you like a grape, then it is very strongly flavored of grape.
Oh man,
I'll share.
That's you will. Those look like Jello shots almost.
It's like a really big mug of jello shot that's a little bit more liquidy than a normal one. So yeah, it sounds like you're passing the mug all around. You guys all give it a swig.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's better than you would thought it would be, because you would have thought it would have destroyed your insides with acid. So, in that regard, it's definitely better.
What about you, Daakar? You want a little drink of this? It's...
I guess. I mean, grape is kind of weird. It's all like purple and stuff, and it.
Well, I mean, he didn't get blueberry, and I know that's your favorite flavor, but I gotta try this.
All right.
You guys are just kind of hanging out in the city, and now behind you, you're starting to hear a sound like coming up from behind you, which is, "Hey, get back here!" As those guards are just slowly starting to tumble and roll their way across the street, and they're starting to catch up after you guys have hung out here and had some great Goop for a while.
Should we proceed at a steady velocity? Because I don't think these guys are gonna catch up to us anytime soon.
Sure, let's go.
Alright, let's take a leisurely Sunday stroll.
Okay. In that case, you begin working your way further through the city, and as I said, it's fairly pleasant. Your eyes are kind of ever fixed, your ultimate goal being the King's Advisor. Your eyes ever fixed on the large, slime-covered castle that sits atop kind of a small hill here within the space. And as you get closer to it, you're starting to look at it, and it doesn't seem to have a lot of like traditional entrances. It seems to be more like a lot of the like city around here. You can see those big pipes of those big pipes that lead up into it, rather than like a door or any kind of gateway. It's just slimes flowing through these clear pipelines leading in and out of the castle, and there's definitely a lot of hustle and bustle within it. You can see another slime like catch a pipeline that's a little bit outside of it, and zips up and into it. They seem to move a little bit faster inside of these things.
Man, I've never seen so many pipes. Like, who invented these? And why are they so cool?
I think it was a plumber. Probably a plumber. Might have had a mustache. Yeah.
Who could say for certain? But yeah, you guys are outside. You can see there's one very large kind of main pipe that seems to be the one that's acting as a front door here, and a lot of oozes are moving through it.
What are the colors of these pipes?
They are clear. You can kind of see the oozes moving through.
Okay. Alright then. I was gonna ask if they were green, but if they're not, then...
No, they are not.
They're not green pipes. Alright, cool.
So, how do you guys want to go about this? Like I said, seems to be no, like, traditional entrance.
Hiori's gonna... Did Daakar eat
There are windows higher up. You could maybe climb the outside, or you could, take the pipes.
That's true. I don't think Hiori would fit in a pipe.
The larger ones, there are some very large ones. You see a creature that is like this very big cube go up to the pipe, and they kind of like struggle a little bit to get in the outside of it, but they're maybe like, an 8-foot cube, and they go up to it, and they just kind of push it, and then all of a sudden they just become a cylinder as they fill into the pipe, and then they just begin like moving up the pipe and into the castle. So there's definitely it's definitely pretty big. You could probably fit if you wanted to try and climb.
Do we want to climb, or do we want to take the pipes? What do we want to do? Personally, you first.
I think we should do the pipes.
Okay. What about you, Daakar? Pipes?
I mean, as long as it's safe. I'm kind of worried about us all getting burned up in there.
Zewxip?
Oh, we might be faster on foot. The natural oozes are used to going through the pipes, and those guards are going to catch up to us any hour.
Any hour. Damn, that's an incredible speed, to be honest. Yeah, I'm feeling going on foot because even though those pipes are some of these pipes are pretty big, but I just have no confidence. I kind of want to walk too. So we have...
All right, so you're gonna try and scale the outside?
Yeah, as best I can.
All right, you get up to the you guys get up to the kind of the edge of the castle, and you can see, like I said, it's very much built around these pipes, so they're not in a lot of. In one hand, it's much easier to go in if you are an ooze, but on the other, the pipes also act in some places as stairs of sort, and you can see a window maybe 30 feet up because the castle's kind of raised up on a platform a little bit. There seems to be a very large segment of it that is just kind of closed off at the bottom of it, and the castle really begins a little bit higher up. So you guys would just have to make, because of all the pipes and stuff that you could kind of hop between, I would let you make either acrobatics or athletics to try and scale on the outside here. And I assume Daakar, you're hopping on to Hiori for this one.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, all right. So you hop back in your little chair, and y'all ready, but what do the rest of you want to do?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start scaling this pipe, supposedly.
Sure.
I'm not entering it, but...
Yeah, going around through the outside and getting up to some of the larger windows. Go ahead and make me acrobatics or athletics, whatever you prefer. And I don't think that Daakar proposes any disadvantage in that, even though you're carrying him around, because he's very little. So you jump up and begin just working your way over. You hop from pipe to pipe until you kind of eventually reach the bottom of the window, and you kind of climb and pull yourself up, and it's a very tall sort of stained glass window here on the outside, or not stained glass, but a nice paned glass, where it's very intricately kind of designed in the way that the pane is shaped. It does not appear to be open. The window seems to be largely decorative, but you can see the inside. There's a big kind of stone hallway, and there also doesn't look to be anyone kind of. You don't see any oozes immediately kind of flowing until you look at a pipe that runs along the ceiling here. You just see one kind of whip past through the pipe. But there doesn't seem to be anyone just walking the actual hall. Sunny and Zewxip, you guys are still back down on the ground. What do you guys want to do?
Take my time, look around. I mean, still walking, where we need to go. But I this is a unique experience,
yeah.
And I want to savor it.
So you're gonna, I mean, you're obviously you're kind of taking your time, but are you gonna try and climb up with Hiori?
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to split the party, but.
Okay. So in that case, go ahead and make me acrobatics and athletics. If you want to do the same, or if you guys have any other other way to climb there, or thoughts on how you want to do that. If you want to do the same, Sunny.
I'll do the same, sure.
9, 17. All right. So Sunny, you were hopping very agilely from pipe to pipe. You, on the other hand, Zewxip, you're kind of getting stuck a little bit. Some of the pipes, the outside, like I said, they're clear. They appear to be made of almost a glass, and they're very slippery. So as you kind of catch one of them, you find your hand kind of caught on where maybe an ooze went here before. It's very slippery, not like a sticky ooze, but more of a slimy one, and your hand falls, and you begin to kind of go downwards. And since you're kind of moving over the tops of pipes, I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw to not fall into one of these open pipes that's kind of sitting up. All right, so yeah, you managed to catch onto the side, and you can see kind of now squirming up behind you, kind of moving up, climbing the side of the pipe and getting ready to dive in. You can see what looks like a very big one of those gray oozes. It doesn't seem to be a guard. It just has a hat inside of it, so you're not sure, just a top hat. But it's looking to get into the pipe, moving presumably through your current location. All of you are seeing this happening. We're not going to do initiative, but it's probably about 1 round's worth of actions you have. Kind of get out of this predicament as you're hanging on the inside of this pipe before one passes over you.
I'm up close to that window, right?
You're up at the window, yeah. You can see below Zewxip in kind of a precarious spot, about to get passed over by a moving ooze.
Okay. So if I'm at the window, I'm gonna commit some vandalism, and I'm basically gonna smash the window open.
Fair enough. Go ahead and make me an attack. Honestly, you don't have to. Are you trying to like just destroy it, or are you trying to like get out like a section of it?
If I can't like get up to the window where I'm safe from the ooze, but also able to deploy my rope from my pack so that Zewxip can grab on, I'm gonna smash my way through the window and then throw my rope out while holding it from my end.
So yeah, you don't even need to roll if you're just recklessly destroying it. You just break through the window. You crash through. As you do so, I do need both you and Daakar to. Oh my god, what did I just do? To make me dexterity saving throws.
Oh no. Oof.
As you crash through, both of you in this instance are going to take, 7 points of piercing damage as the broken glass kind of cuts you apart in places. But both of you are now inside the building, and it takes kind of an action to break through the window, so you probably still have a bonus action. Also, Sunny, Daakar, and you yourself, Zewxip, have not acted yet in this instance. What do the rest of you guys want to do? You're now safe and kind of secure inside the building.
If I tried to grab Zewxip, or sorry, the thing, if I were to pull Zewxip or the thing out of the way, say by 5 feet, would that throw them off of the building, or would that pull them closer to me?
You could. You're up kind of at the window where Hiori was, so it would. Yeah, I think you could. If you had a way to like move someone 5 feet, you could do that.
Okay. Zewxip, are you okay if I grab you real quick?
That's fine.
Okay.
Before you do that, is it Thorn Whip that you're grabbing it with?
Yes.
Are you okay with it, Thorn Whip, Zewxip?
Of course.
Okay. In that case, the Thorn Whip flies out and absolutely hits. And you drag Zewxip up. You take a little bit of a chunk of damage. That 3 is reduced to 1, because I believe you're resistant to fire, correct? Oh no, you have to expend a point. I always forget that you have to activate that. You take a little bit of a chunk of damage there. However, you are pulled safely up onto the ledge, and the ooze kind of passes through and down into the pipe.
I'm sorry I hurt you. Let me help you out with that.
No, other people give each other high fives, and sometimes it's too hard. That was an excellent vegetative equivalent.
But I feel bad. Hold on. Here. Let me fix that. Here. Just heal some real quick. 7.
Yeah, you gain 7 points of healing back as some of your kind of plant recurls and folds in on itself, fixing the damage done by the Thorn Whip.
Sorry about that, Car. I might have cut you a little bit.
And you guys are now safe as well. You're up at the window, and you're all able to hop in and begin roaming the halls of the castle if you so wish.
Real fast, Hiori's gonna give Daakar 5 points of her lay on hands.
All right. Daakar, you feel the healing energy as Hiori lays a gentle hand upon you.
Oh, that's much better. The glass is kind of sharp, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'll fare a little better, but I don't want you to be too hurt because of me, little buddy.
All right, and you find yourselves now. You guys find yourselves now within the castle. You can see there's a lot more of these pipes that are weaving very intricate kind of patterns through here, and you can see that the ooze within them are moving very quickly and purposefully. Yeah, the halls are completely embedded. It seems like almost no one actually walks in this space. It's all these pipes that the oozes use to go through. And you can tell very quickly that you're getting some strange looks from the oozes that are passing by in pipes ahead of you, and above you and around you. Occasionally one will like stop to kind of like look at you guys walking around the hallways, but behind them, they're just like traffic starts to build up, and then it just kind of like pushes them through, moving them towards whatever their ultimate destination may be. You're exploring, you're looking around. Is there anything particular you want to do, or are you guys just kind of trying to make a beeline for wherever the throne room is, looking for that?
Well, I don't think we have to be too particularly fast right now. So if Zewxip and Sunny want to bask in being inside a castle now, they totally can. I have nothing against it.
Of course.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right.
All right. In that case, yeah, you guys leisurely walk the halls. There are, as you're going through, why don't you all make me, you can make perception or investigation as you're looking through. Whatever you kind of want it to do.
Just one of us or all of us?
No, all of you if you want to.
Ow.
All right. For the most part, you're walking through. You can see a lot of what look like a lot of the construction seems to be of glass in places. It looks like they're very good at working with glass. You can also see, there are very smooth and perfect stone carvings. There are a lot of depictions of just like, there's a lot of sphericals that just have like a couple of eyes in it, as this is presumably like it's kind of hard, you think, to do ooze art right because you can't see the insides, but you're getting the impression that there are a lot of depictions of what might be monarchs of oozes past in these huge spheres, and some of them are very big. You can see one that towers up maybe like 16, 17 foot rough sphere that's kind of like depicted in one statue. There's a lot of art of slime and goop that are along the walls, alongside also just a lot of slime that seems to be dripping from places. In some spots, that slime kind of reaches out and kind of like just is kind of like moving kind of ambiently. It doesn't seem to have a lot of intent, but it does seem to be alive. And that's most of what you're kind of getting. You do manage to find you kind of notice one room as you guys are just generally exploring. You kind of pick this one out. Daakar is just this confluence of pipes that seem to lead all over the place. And you also find what looks like, you find what looks like kind of a great hall, and at the end of it there is a very large door that presumably would lead into the throne room. There's a bunch of pipes that pass through that door. A couple of guards seem to currently be flowing in large numbers towards that room through those pipes. What do you guys want to do?
Do you guys think that this entire castle is just one big slime?
It's crazy, right? It's gotta be crazy. Because that would mean that we're all dead if that's true, and I don't want to be dead, so it can't be one big slime.
Power of positive thinking.
I hope it's not a big slime. Let's go with, it's just made of slime.
Well, the beverage was made of slime, and we didn't suffer from that.
You have a point. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Good. Then let's just stick with that idea and continue.
What's the plan of action here?
I think we should go towards that really big door.
Yeah, we probably should. Also, if we are in the slime, I'll just burn it from the inside. We'll be
All right. In that case, you guys begin walking your way up across your footsteps echoing on marble. As you reach the very large door at the bottom of it, you can see there is a smaller door. It appears to be meant actually for more humanoid creatures, as it, there's the two kind of pipe holes at the top, and the larger door doesn't seem to be open at all because the pipes go through, kind of locking it in place. But there's a smaller door built into it that you guys are able to open and access. Double door. As you kind of go and enter the room that you move into, it's a large circular chamber, and it is currently empty, but there are a lot of pipes that seem to open out and empty into this room. And at the back of the room, you can see what appears to be a very huge throne made entirely from glass. And also on that throne, it's like a whole sculpture of what looks like a person sitting on a throne, and it's all one piece made out of glass. And that's kind of like the only thing currently in the room.
I don't like this. I really don't like this. So, have you guys ever heard of glass slimes? Are those
No.
a thing? Glass slimes aren't a thing?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll go with you on that, because if that's the slime, well, yeah.
And as you say that, and as you're kind of having this conversation, moving a little bit further into the room, all of a sudden those big pipes that are along the ceiling seem to like pump and flow with ooze, and it all is kind of confluxing towards a pipe that's above that big sort of slime throne, and just ooze begins to pour out of it into what looks like an opening on like the crown on top of this king sitting on a throne, until that ooze just fills it like a glass of water, and then you can now see the shape of this ooze on. It looks like the ooze is sitting inside this jar, and you can see a couple of eyes pop out around eye level where the head of the king would be. You can see floating somewhere inside of this mass is what looks like a crown and scepter, as well as like kind of a kingly cape, almost, that sort of robe. I don't know what the name for the thing I'm thinking of is, but you know, the kind of cape that kings wear?
The mantle?
The mantle, thank you. I was out of control there. I can't believe I couldn't get mantle. And the ooze also seems to, as it settles in, to like shift in color in places, so that the throne itself now looks to be made out of a wood inside the glass, and it has a very almost humanoid form, although the proportions are definitely weird and whatever an ooze would think humanoid proportions are. And they kind of sit on the throne, and then around them from other pipes, a whole bunch of those guard oozes that you saw coming in before all schlorp into the room, and then right at his side, one very big kind of ooze appears next to him, and you can see within it, he appears to have like a couple of books inside, as well as what looks like a very nice pair of magical boots.
While the oozes are manifesting, I'd like to very carefully remove a picnic basket that I've been carrying with me, and inside are a couple dumplings, and I want to pass the 3 dumplings out to my 3 party members that cast the aid spell on them, and so they're each going to get 5 temporary hit points.
Thank you.
All right. So everyone is suddenly blessed with the power of your aid spell, and
dumplings.
As you kind of are moving into one of those oozes that's over on the side, who seems to have a trumpet inside of its ooze body, kind of goes, "You may approach the Sovereign Goo."
Oh, it's apparently not temp.
Our hit point maximum is increased, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it increases hit point maximum. That's right. And the you can see the ooze inside of this glass king is starting to kind of like shift as it's expecting and waiting for what you guys are going to do.
Your Majesty, it's a pleasure to meet you. Hi.
Yeah, go on, please.
Yeah, Hiori's gonna start going up, even though, you know, they're in no position to speak with him right now because they're like still at the door. So I imagine Sonny's just yelling across the Great Hall.
I think you guys are kind of talking as you're walking up. And the king kind of responds in kind from within the shell, and you hear it as a very deep voice that calls out, "Hello there! It's good to see you. I haven't had humanoid visitors in a long time. How are you all?"
Fantastic.
Actually, yeah, I suppose we're doing good.
Yes, it's been very strange. I haven't seen a single humanoid in a very long time. And what brings you to our kingdom of Goop?
Wait, you said you haven't seen a single humanoid?
That's right, only oozes around lately. It gets so boring only talking to oozes,
But
especially when most of them are me.
But the guards at the gate said that no humanoid visitors were allowed.
That's absolutely ridiculous. Why would I want a kingdom made up entirely of oozes?
That's interesting. I mean, I'll take your word for it, but that doesn't add up. Something's wrong here.
And you see the ooze by his side that has the boots within this kind of it looks like a big deep black ooze, which if any of you want to make a nature check on that guy, you're welcome to do so. Kind of begins kind of shifting around a little bit and changing its shape, and its head kind of forms upwards into the shape of a mouth, and it begins speaking to you in a voice that's actually a little bit different than a lot of the ones that you've heard so far, and it calls out, "Why have you come to meet His Majesty today?"
I did roll that nature check, by the way.
Appears to be some kind of black pudding.
It's pudding.
Black pudding, which you are aware of is a very deadly type of ooze.
Yeah, Hiori's just gonna whisper that to the party real fast.
Yeah, you let everyone know.
We've come to see the sights, to bask in this unique place, and also there was a rumor of a very rare relic that could be found here. And so, if this place isn't just an interesting sight, it could also be a museum. There's a special pair of wondrous, legendary boots that we would love to see.
And you see, as the ooze is kind of like shifting around, and you've seen the some of like, bits and pieces of this creature. You've seen the boots kind of as the ooze is moving, and you see they're kind of resting on the outside right now, and they just all of a sudden shift into the center of this advisor's form. And the advisor kind of speaks again. "His Majesty has no need of you here now. The relics that you're looking for, I don't believe, are here. Please be gone. We have much to do today." And the kind of royal ooze kind of calls out, No! There's no need to be so hasty. They've come all this way."
Your Majesty is ever so kind. Yes, we would love to marvel in that which you have.
And yeah,
if you don't mind my saying...
He responds.
Oh, you flirt.
As you guys are kind of having this conversation, you see that kind of advisor ooze is kind of seeming to be like reaching up some tendrils towards where the king is. And it kind of reaches into the glass. It kind of reaches into the glass throne, and you see a little drop of that dark ooze begins to sift into it and disperse in the king's form. And almost immediately as this happens, there's a little bit of a shifting in his countenance and his posture. He goes, "But indeed, it has been fun so far, but I really do think it might be time to have our meeting come to an end."
But I haven't given you gifts yet.
"No need for gifts at this time. Be gone with you. As a matter of fact, please leave my sight immediately."
Okay, you told me to leave your site. I got. I'll take care of that right away.
Well, then go then.
Okay.
I have much to do today, as
All right.
Schlorp instructed me.
I'm gonna get out of your sight.
All right. So, I mean, there's not a lot to hide behind in here. But if you want to, like, you could like back out of the room and duck behind the wall. But it's mostly an open circular chamber.
Well, I can't hide behind the guards or whatever. Okay.
I mean, the guard would know you were there because you're next to him. Also, they just kind of like see you walk over. Like I said, this is a very low cover zone. Like I said, you could walk back out, but that would probably be the only place you could stealth if you want to do that.
All right, Zewxip, it looks like we've got to do this the hard way.
Anyone else?
Bludgeoning things? What's the hard way?
I think you know what I mean. He just turned the king against himself.
And the king, with each kind of passing moment, seems to be getting a little bit more agitated. And I told you, be gone! There are no humanoids allowed in our kingdom of Goop.
Where is the black slime that had, well, still has, but has the boots inside of it? Is it standing next to the?
Yeah, immediately to the left of the king's throne, and you can see it's kind of reaching in, and some of the ooze is disseminating into the glass throne. You can see it like kind of floating around in globules now inside of the king.
Would you classify this corrupting of the king as a sort of poison or something like that? Like he's poisoning the king's form itself, kind of corrupting him?
It's probably not quite that simple.
Okay.
Is there a reason for?
I had a plan, but if it's not
Probably not just a poison. If you're specifically referring to like a poison condition.
Yeah, if it's not like a really complex poison or disease or something, then it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
I had a thought, but it wouldn't be that simple.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's probably not for the purposes. And now you can see some of the king is starting to schlorp upwards and into the pipe, and then whoop, some of the king is like now dropping downwards from the ceiling into the guards around. And specifically, it seems like from the king, a lot of this black ooze is starting to disseminate into the guards, who've mostly been confused and now are starting to look a bit more purposeful. I mean, that's the second time I've done that today. And a little bit more combat ready, if that makes sense. All of these oozes with swords inside of them just kind of now stop jiggling and are looking at you with intent.
Okay. I have a way we can do this, and it's not gonna be. Here. Observe.
In that case, as you all of a sudden are throwing out a twisting pattern of colors, I would like you to go ahead and roll initiative as you kind of set this thing off. And I assume I'll say that for the sake of it, you kind of call out to your party that, you kind of give them a sign that.
Right, I said this wasn't going to be good.
Yeah, you give them a sign, and they kind of know now to not get caught up in this thing. But one thing I do want to know is, and as you throw up this incredible hypnotic pattern, which fills the space with color, everyone kind of, all of the group of you kind of like avert your eyes and look away, but as it kind of resonates and spins into space, all of the oozes here, they don't seem to react at all, or even stare or see it. And you come to the realization the oozes probably don't see in the same way that all of you see. And
that's just perfect.
And because I believe it, you have to be able to see it. Yeah, they cannot. the air, who sees the pattern, yeah. So as all of the oozes are kind of like just staring, and the king's kind of looking up the pattern, you watch as that advisor ooze, Schlorp, Schlorpy Bubbles, full name I believe was his name, kind of looks over and calls out, "You see me now! He has used magic against you! Guard, arrest them!" And the guard kicks into action, all of them moving against you in kind of unity, as they are also going to roll initiative. There's a whole bunch of different guys here. And then... Whoop. Oh, some of those got sent to the wrong layer. The Sovereign Goo. All right. And oh wait, Schlorp himself did not get too good up there. Give me one more brief moment. Sorry about this. There we go. All right. And so the first to act in this instance is you still, Sunny. But your hypnotic patterns seem to have no effect on these oozes who are all blind.
Oh, darn it. Can I try to attempt to move in a way that I can try to grab the boots from inside of the guy with the thorn whip, or?
You can kind of get up to him and start, like right now, they seem to be completely invisible in his form. They're like at the center of him, but if you start to pick away at him, you could probably start getting at him. So if, yeah, you want to go up to him and attack?
I was okay, so
you
I
probably
couldn't
just pull him out in one go. You'd need to have like a better visual on him and like clear away some of the pudding yet first.
All right, no problem. In that case, we're gonna hex him.
Oh
wait, I can't. Hold on. Never mind, I can't. I used my 2 spell. Never mind.
Oh, you already thunderstepped as well.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. In that case, what do you want to do?
No, I can't. Let's see. Let's go with Razmatech. As I attempt to throw this at him.
Yeah, that's absolutely gonna hit. You douse the creature in oil, and it's now kind of shiny and slick as its form jiggles and wiggles about. Anything else on your turn? It's a Sunny classic.
No, that's good for right.
All right, Zewxip, what do you want to do?
To be clear, the king kind of like sucked up into a tube that dispersed this kind of influence or infection into the others. Is the king still up, like on the ceiling or in a tube?
The king is mostly still in the big glass throne, and you can see some of the black pudding. And just the king is a little bit smaller than he was, and it looks like the king is also like these oozes that are over here on the side are also like part of the king.
Okay.
Is the vibe you're getting. So he's just basically still partly in the throne, and the rest of it is like in the guards. But yeah, the king is smaller in the throne.
I am going to. Is the black slime within a movement for me?
Yeah, you could get right up to the black slime if you wanted to.
I would actually like to get inside the black slime. I would like to dive inside of it.
Okay.
From inside of it, I would like to cast Wind.
All right, so you're going to get up to it. I think in order to like push into it, because this one's kind of, thicker than most, I'm gonna probably need you to make me an athletics check in order to try and like push your way through, and it will be contested by probably his constitution in this case, as you're trying to just like pull his body apart. And the black pudding, it's very thick, and as you're trying to like push your way through, it's definitely harder than you were initially expecting. It's not like a gelatinous cube or something like that. This is a more solid form. Additionally, it's extremely corrosive. As you touch it, you take 3 points of damage. But you still would have, a bonus action if you want to try and do that. And you could, this would work if you were able to beat his thing.
Okay, nope, I'm just gonna keep trying. I mean, I'll taunt like, absorb me! I've seen your glory! Make me one with you!
Now, a question for you. You're not wearing any. You don't have anything metal or wood that would corrode, do you? You're made of plant matter.
I'm made of plant matter. I'm not wearing armor. I have brass dragon scales. I don't know if that counts, but that's part of the sorceress AC.
No, that wouldn't be relevant here. All right, in that case, you get right up next to him, and that's all for your turn. And that's actually, I think, going to move us onto his turn. And he says, "Your wish is my command." As he's going to try and hit you with the pseudopod. Does a 15 get you?
Yes.
Okay. He's going to hit you. The kind of a big piece of the black pudding whips up, and for a moment you can see the boots exposed once more in his form as he kind of reshifts himself, and it crashes into you, and as it does, it burns and it hurts as just from the raw impact of it, as you take a total of 18 points of damage. Oof. It's a big hit. And that's all for his turn. He can only do the one attack. As we move next in initiative to some of the I believe it's some of the guards that are going to be coming up next. And you watch as there are, all said and done, there are 6 of these guards that are in the space. They start kind of sliding along the ground towards you. The chamber is kind of wide. None of them are able to get up to you in this round. But they'll basically be ready. They'll be able to get to you and attack in the next round. But they're all like, they're all about 5 feet away from you. That are kind of clustered in the center of the room at the moment. So the guards approach for their turn, and then then it's going to bring us to the next in initiative, which is Daakar. What do you wish to do?
I have no idea what our plant friend is doing. Our flowery. That's really confusing when we have 2 flowery friends.
I'm trying to get the boots, Ren.
Which one did he throw oil on?
The one that Zewxip is trying to get into, Schlorp, the advisor ooze.
Is Zewxip in contact with Schlorp currently?
Yeah.
Okay, so lighting him on fire would be a bad idea.
I mean, Zewxip's not like, it's not gonna, I wouldn't count the fire damage as hitting if you want to do that.
Alright, then from my vantage point, I already forgot how this wand works, I'm sorry. Let me read this real quick. I'm going to upcast a chromatic orb at 3rd level.
All right, you cast Chromatic Orb at 3rd level, and I assume you're doing fire by what you were saying there?
Yep, fire.
Okay.
That did not... Alright, it's going to be...
24 is definitely going to hit. Go ahead and roll damage on that. Oof! A sizable chunk of damage. That's 25. Fire damage. And how does that interact with the oil? It does extra damage, doesn't it?
Oil makes it deal 5 fire damage. Yeah.
All right, so a total of, or 23, so 28 points of fire damage. As it crashes into it, the oil ignites, zipping up around it. Zewxip, you kind of are like thrown a little bit back by the sudden explosion on the ooze as it burns and kind of and kind of shifts around and moves. You hit it for a ton of fire damage. Anything else on your turn?
I think that'll be everything.
All right. In that case, that's going to bring us around to Hiori. What do you want to do?
That black pudding is the current target, I would believe.
All right.
We really want those boots. So, part of me figures we can make it easier to get maybe one of the boots if I chop the pudding itself in half.
Yeah, go ahead and make an attack roll.
And I'm going to do that with Glacial Tear.
Yeah, absolutely going to hit.
Before that,
Run over and slide down. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, before I roll damage, this thing will take the full damage before it splits, or does it split and both halves take damage?
You do not know how this ooze works. You wouldn't know that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna smite this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do my weapon damage and then my smite.
All right. That's going to be a huge chunk of damage as you strike for a grand total of 22 points of damage. And as you slam down, it does indeed. Yeah, as it kind of slams down, it kind of starts to break apart and get into two chunks. And then you watch as it kind of comes back together as one unified thing, as the black pudding does not appear to want to be two things. It wants to be one. But it does take a huge amount of damage. It is, I mean, big pieces of it are also just like schloon about the wall, as there's like black pudding that's now eating through and corroding some of the marble there along the back wall.
So that's how you want to be, huh? Don't like being two things at once, huh?
And yeah, it seems to be kind of holding its form to protect the boots as much as it can, but you know, it's being whittled away at pretty quickly. And now we're gonna move on to the Sovereign Goo, who is going to hop up out of his whole situation here. And you watch as ooze just starts to kind of flow up and leak and pour out of the top of the throne, and just rolls onto the ground, forming an absolutely massive circle. And on its turn, it's going to come over to, I think, you, Hiori, and just call out, "Hands off my advisor!" It does not have advantage. It's just a 12, I assume misses.
Yeah, that definitely misses.
And a 13, I assume, also misses.
Yes.
Oof. And that is all for that creature's turn. As it makes those couple of attacks as it kind of slaps at you. You're able to throw your shield up into the way, kind of knocking it away without.
I do not have my shield equipped.
Oh, I just assumed. In that case, you're able to, dodge out of the way as the pseudopod comes in, and that's all for his turn. Now that he's reformed and kind of out of the throne, you can just see this big gray ooze, partially translucent, and you can see just a big chunk of that like black ooze that's still floating around in the middle of him. We're going to move next in initiative to the top, which I believe is you, Sunny.
Yeah, it's me. So is there a way that I can move around the king to the advisor?
You could go around the outside. I think that's fine. You might have to pass by. Yeah, you will, because the guards are kind of encircling you guys. You'll have to provoke an opportunity attack from maybe one guard.
I said that I moved earlier, so I would assume that I'm like within 15 feet of the
That's
thing.
true. You're right. Yeah. That's fine.
So I'm gonna try to move up to the advisor right now, with his now that he's currently encased in oil and such, and I am going to call my friends, the bees, as a bonus action.
What does this do, please?
It's Cloak of Bees. I just surround myself with bees.
You just got a big aura of bees. What happens to him?
He would take, so the aura grants advantage on charisma checks, blah, blah, blah. Any creature that starts its turn in the aura takes poison damage equal to my charisma modifier, which is 3. That's
okay.
So that's my bonus action. Now, my action, now that I'm within 5 feet of this creature, is I am going to, green flame blade.
All right.
So here's my attack roll.
Yes, let's say. A 10, because it's an ooze, still hits. Those oozes are not very good at not getting hit. As you strike it with the attack.
So that's 10 plus 14. 24.
All right. Oh, man. As you strike it with the attack, you take 8 acid damage. However, it does take a huge chunk of damage in response. It's not 24. Isn't it just 14?
No, it's 24. It takes the
does
4
the
from the... Yeah.
It does the
4
damage
from the
twice?
Charm. So green flame blade... Oh, so does the charm only work once? Because it's 2 separate things. One's a spell, one's a attack.
For now, we'll say yes, and I'll think about this later. I'm not sure how that interaction would be. Okay, no, I was confused about what it was doing. And fire leaps to it. Yeah, you have to do the fire damage to a different creature. You can't do it all to one creature.
Additionally, whenever you get to 5th level, you do 1d8 worth of fire damage to the first creature you hit.
Oh, okay, yeah. I guess that's right. Sorry about that. Just throw me off a bit. All right, yeah, sure. You hit for 24 points of damage. It's a powerful strike. And yeah, this thing's looking real beat up at this point. And anything else on your turn?
No, that's it.
All right. That's going to bring us then to Zewxip. You've taken a lot of acid damage at this point, but this creature is getting real beat up in front of you. You're starting to be able to see the boots actually like kind of sticking out of its form in places.
In that case, do I think maybe instead of having to dive in and blow them out, I might be able to, like from within, as it's sort of being reduced or opened up, I might just be able to cast external?
You might be able to, yeah. It would have to, it would roll to resist, I assume. You're trying to blow them away with the gust of wind?
Yeah, I want to remove the boots. I'm not looking to kill this thing necessarily.
Yeah, no,
I just want to recover the boots.
Yeah,
Right.
Go ahead or they just do that. So what are they going to make, a strength saving throw, I believe?
Strength saving throw at disadvantage as I'm spending 3 sorcery points to impose disadvantage on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's an 8, which fails anyway. As you kind of take this gust of wind and begin blowing it at the ooze, the entire thing gets, thrown backwards and into the wall. You see it sizzle, but as it hits the wall, the physics of it kind of, it splats against it and is kind of flat for a moment. And the boots are kind of thrown and pushed out of its form a little bit back in your direction. Would you like to pick them up?
Please.
All right, you got yourself the boots. The goal of your quest is in hand. As we move next in initiative to the black pudding itself, which is going to move forward. It's nearly downed, but it's going to slide up to you. It's going to slide up to you, I think, Sunny, and make an attack against you. Oh, but that's a critical failure, which I assume is not going to hit.
No. No, it didn't hit.
All right. And that is all for his turn. He's not got a lot of can do. As we move next to Daakar. What do you want to do, Daakar? You've got guards closing in on all sides. The black pudding is near down. The king looms terrifyingly.
I want to not get necessarily killed here, but I don't know if I can do anything to guarantee I won't be, so... Let's see. I'm just going to stick with a trick that works and do another 3rd level chromatic orb on the black pudding.
All right, go ahead and fire away.
Oof.
11 still hits.
Oh.
It's an ooze. Those oozes have low AC. Not the most dexterous.
I think he had advantage on that anyway because I was near him, unless that's for melee.
That's true as well. But yeah, that's another 23 points of damage. Would you care to describe your killing blow upon this black pudding?
I will completely burn him away for being so mean and mind controlling or whatever he's doing to everyone. And
very good. And he was kind of thrown up against the wall from the gust of wind. He had moved forward. However, now he's kind of back against it as he's pushing against it, and the fire just comes in and leaves nothing but a dark stain on the wall where this pestilent being once was. And that's all for your turn, I believe, yes?
Yes.
However, at this time, as it ends, as it comes again to your turn, and we move on to the guards still seem to be acting pretty aggressively, and you can still see that big chunk of this dark, deep black ooze that's floating around inside the king's massive oozy form. As the guards are going to take their turn, they begin moving over, and they now have you all encircled. That's going to be the 6 guards are going to attack. That's 1 against you, Sunny. Or I'm sorry, 2 against... No, because Daakar, you're up high on the thing, so it's just 2 against each of you. Sunny, Hiori, and Zewxip as the guards swarm.
Okay.
And they're going to come at you in that order. So it's going to be Hiori first. That's 2 attacks against you.
Neither hit.
Neither going to hit. That's going to be 2 attacks against you, Zewxip. Oof. Much better on their rolls there. Do both of those hit, Zewxip?
Yep.
That's 27 points of damage in total. Are you still up?
Nope.
Oh, Jesus. All right. As that's next going to be 2 against you, Sunny. That's a 23 and a 9.
23 will hit, 9 no.
All right, so that's 8 points of damage, 6 bludgeoning, 2 acid, as these oozes are all up around you, kind of taking you guys down as they swarm and absorb. And that's all for their turns. Hiori, the turn is yours. You can still see the king looming, and he kind of looks down and calls out, "How could you do this to my beloved advisor? Schlorpy Bubbles was the greatest man this kingdom has known!" And that kind of big chunk of black ooze within his form is still there, seeming to influence. What do you want to do?
I kind of want to. I kind of want to cut the ooze, like the pudding, out of the king.
All right. You want to try and cut out that chunk?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and make me an attack roll with disadvantage because you're targeting.
I'm going to Vow of Enmity first.
Oh, that's a bonus action, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So never mind. Don't make an attack with disadvantage. Just make an attack.
Well, let me say that I'm vowing, and now I'm going to attack.
26 is going to go ahead and hit on that one.
So, I'm
roll damage on
unfortunate.
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna do damage to him, but I'm also gonna cut out the block. Maybe. Possibly.
All right, yeah, you swing through and you do manage to connect with the part of the ooze inside of the body that you want to target, and you drag a lot of it out. It looks like you got about half of it, but it's not quite enough yet as it moves now onto his turn. Do you have anything else on your turn?
Let me look at something. I've already made my damage in my hit, right? If I increased my damage, or if I increased my damage with a smite, would that bring more out of it?
I mean, yeah, you were dealing damage to it, but I think
I don't
at this
want to.
point, I think the moment's passed at this point.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah.
That's gonna be all.
All right. In that case, the ooze is going to look down at you, who seem to kind of disturb it, and you watch as the ooze inside of the ooze was disturbed. They all kind of relaxed for a moment, and they seem to be dazed, but then they kind of refocus, and the Sovereign Goo is going to make 2 more attacks against you. Hiori, that's a 19.
Oh, that does hit me.
And a 25. Oh.
I'm down.
All right, that's 29, and yeah, that's a lot of damage, as you are hit with 2 massive oozy punches, and it does seem to almost form fists as the ooze kind of knocks around. You have 2 allies down as we move to the top of the initiative. Sunny, there's just a little bit of this black ooze left within the Sovereign Goo, but 2 of your allies are falling, or have fallen now. What do you want to do, Sunny?
No! Here! Zewxip, heal up!
You bring Zewxip back from the brink. With
yes,
a...
And then I'm... Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna say roll up the heal. Oh, you already did it. That's there.
Yeah, it did. It's 3. Then the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna... My bees should have... He hasn't moved, right? He should have
No,
taken...
he takes... he takes that 3 poison damage. Okay.
The other thing, too, is that I'm going to do is I am going to say disengage and try to get out.
You're just gonna run?
Yes.
All right, you turn around and run away. As you run across the room, these oozes seem to have no hope of catching you. You're long gone. As we move next in initiative to you, Zewxip, what do you want to do? There's a little bit of this ooze left inside of the big ooze. You got an ally down. What's the play?
Down and bleeding?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Oof. No luck. You still have a bonus action, though. Do you have anything you can do with that?
No.
All right, that would move us next in initiative to... Schlorpy Bubbles, but Schlorp's down, which brings us then to Daakar. Daakar, what's the play?
Where is Zewxip in relation to me and in relation to...
You guys are all right together, because you were where the ooze was before, because Hiori was attacking in melee.
So
you are now kind of, I think probably because you were riding on Hiori's back, you're probably prone at the moment, as Hiori collapsed to the ground. There's a little bit of this dark controlling ooze still in the big one.
I'm just curious if Zewxip is close enough to the Sovereign Goo that she would provide pack tactics for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You would be, if you're targeting it, you would attack with disadvantage, but you pack tactics, so it's just a flat roll.
Alright, I know exactly what I'm gonna do. It's time to bust out that fancy new magic we've been working on, the Eldritch Chains.
Oh. What does that do? Because 9 just barely hits.
It's Eldritch Blast, but with a little bit of a twist.
Oh! That's extremely good. Roll damage. It smashes through the inside of the Sovereign Goo's form, knocking out from within that piece of black ooze, which again splatters across the wall as before. And almost immediately, you watch the demeanor in both the Sovereign Goo and the oozes around you change. And everyone seems to just kind of jiggle around for a moment. And then the Sovereign Goo kind of speaks up. Oh, dear. Is that one there okay? She seems terribly burned. I didn't mean to do that, I'm sorry. Where's Schlorpy? Schlorpy, get us a... Has any of you seen Schlorpy Bubbles?
Yeah. He said that he got really tired of doing the same old thing, and he wanted to take a trip for a long time to get a feel of the lands beyond this kingdom.
Oh. It's unlike him. He's so liked it here. With among all of us oozes. But far be it. Is there anything you can do to help your friend?
Yes, there is.
Yes.
Healing light for 6.
You heal up. He goes, oh, he left those boots of his here. And he sees that you're welcome to keep them. I guess he won't be needing them if he isn't coming back. As he's looking at you now, Zewxip.
Someone get the license plate on that bus.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was looking at me. Can you say that last part again?
He was just basically saying, you can keep those boots of his.
Oh, okay. All right. I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to flub that. Oh, yes, thank you. These boots, I will make sure to have them commemorated and remembered as an artifact held in your good keeping.
Oh, good, very good. Well, if there's nothing else, it seems I would like to stay and chat, but it looks like you all need some medical attention. Well, it was very nice. You're welcome back to the Kingdom of Goop anytime. And with that, you are all free to leave. Eventually, you make your way back to Bartholomew's shop, and you return his boots to him therein. And for that, Bartholomew kind of says, greetings, adventurers. I trust that everything went very well. I see a few acid wounds, but nothing too bad.
Yeah, nothing too bad. I'm a little hurt, but oh,
I think you'll want to get those boots washed.
I will absolutely do. Yes, I absolutely will. And he's kind of looking him over now as they're covered in slime in a lot of different spots.
that was
But-
covered in black pudding, by the way, so you might want to get them extra washed.
Oh, yes, they're rather resistant, but that smell will be hard to get out. Regardless, I do believe I owe each of you, and he hands each of you 200 Bartholomew bucks. Each of you gain 1 point of experience, and with that, you have successfully completed our adventure today. Thank you all very much for playing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Possible shopping?
Yes, do any of you need to shop? It sounds like you
No.
do.
I would like to.
All right. In that case, yes. What can I get for you, Hiori?
I'm gonna want a charm of the elements, please.
I do believe that can be easily done. Roger, we have plenty of those, right?
Bartholomew, I made so many of these charms. I'm so glad people are finally buying them. Okay, charm of the elements. Do you know what kind of element you want?
I'm gonna want some cold, please.
Very good.
The emerald. Wonderful.
Thank you.
You want it shaped in a particular way, or just kind of?
Can we shape it to where it can be engraved into the pommel or the crossguard of my greatsword?
Yeah, sure.
Easily done. Easily done. Very good.
All right.
Does anyone else have anything they would wish to purchase at that time, or did you have anything else, Hiori?
No, I have nothing else to buy. If anyone else wants something, then it's up to their discretion, wouldn't it?
All right. Anyone else have anything they wish to purchase?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
And hearing no more.
I'm good.
Okay, yeah. In that case, that's it for Adventure 1. We'll be back very shortly with our second adventure of the night. Please stay tuned, everyone.